I'm immature. What can I say?
Okay, so DJ,
Yes.
do you know what really spreads my ashes?
No. What?
Problematic memes,
Oh no.
especially problematic memes from like 2002 or I don't know, 90s or whatever.
That was not a good time for memes.
You know that most of those memes from the early internet days were born on that misogynistic 4chan.
4chan.
And someone recently made the mistake of sending a meme to me with the thought that I was gonna
That you would
laugh.
enjoy it.
Yeah, and anyone who knows me knows that my edges have been snatched by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, the Nigerian author, and of course Beyonce, and that I am a proud feminist. So that's already where they fucked up by sending that thing to me, because
They should
of
have
course,
known.
they should have known better than to send something so stupid to me. But let me explain the meme. So at the top part of the meme, there's three girls and they're like laughing and they say, he's like 20 and he still plays video games. And then the bottom part of the meme is the picture of like video game characters like Call of Duty, like hardcore looking men with guns. And then it says, bitch please, y'all 15 and pregnant.
Oh.
That made me so angry on so many different levels. So I just want to address, like, all the men come into the room, get your notebooks ready, and just check your privilege and your fragile masculinity at the door, and just come and be educated by me. Just a short education on how this is so wrong. So what I don't understand is we live in 2020, right? How are men, their ego's still so fragile? When someone says he's like 20 and still plays video games, the first thing you do is to use the word bitch. I don't understand why you have to insult the person pointing out you playing video games at 20. Which, let me just preface this by saying that's not even an issue. I don't know why the women are...
Why would you be insulted by that? Or also, why are you insulting that?
Thank you. So first of all, for you to say bitch please, like, why are we still using the word bitch to describe a woman? And why are you so pressed that you are using that? Like, I don't understand. And then to say y'all 15 and pregnant, like, also, like, do you have any idea that a 15-year-old does not make that many great decisions, and that there's probably a guy that's 2 years older, 3 years older, 4 years older than her that made her pregnant?
There's not a lot of valid consent going on there.
They're not really, and growing brains and how people's brains are only really step into like true adulthood when you're like 26, and like your prefrontal cortex only really finishes like developing then. So all these levels of stuff that you don't understand, and you're using pregnancy as an insult. Like, how are you attacking a woman's body for being a body as an insult? I don't get it. How does that make you feel like more of a man? Oh, okay, so that's the first thing that upset me. And then secondly, if there's any woman out there or girl out there who thinks that it's okay to laugh at someone else's hobby, like, does that have anything to do with you? Like, why do you give 2 teaspoons of a pixelated fuck, what anyone is doing with their time? Unless that hobby is hurting children or hurting women or hurting other people, mind your fucking business. Yeah, that's what really... spread my ashes.
Spread your ashes?
Yes, this week. I was just so... And the person who said this to me, if you're listening to this, I am not angry at you, because you know, when I told you all the ways that how this is fucked up, you kindly stepped back and said, okay. But I do want to caution people, don't just read something and think it's funny, because that kind of behavior spreads into our society, and that's why we have the thing where women are devalued, or where women's bodies are used as an attack or as an insult.
The attitude behind why it's regarded as funny is problematic.
Exactly. It's not funny at all. Ugh. Anyway.
I'm short-circuiting. I'm like,
yeah,
what?
Exactly.
What?
How is this a thing? And so, yeah, that's the thing that really pissed me off.
This is the meme you were telling me about.
Yeah, this is the meme I was telling you about. And so, like, I get that you that it's funny for you and your friends who think the same way. And that external validation is not helping you.
That brings us to our episode for today, Want Attention Please. Here with the audacity of all of the Korean stores that started playing Christmas music before it was even December 1st. I'm DJ.
And I'm Ivor. I'm coming to you with the energy of the Black Panthers, because I too am annoyed at the Christmas music that plays in my gym all the time. Like, I'm both annoyed and also not, because I live for All I Want for Christmas Is You, but I'm annoyed that I can't sing it off key in the gym.
You're extra, but you don't get to enjoy the extraness.
Exactly. I don't. Well, I kind of do. Welcome to today's episode.
So external validation, what that looks like or what that means to me is looking, I guess, for like praise or just attention from other people rather than finding that in yourself. So like doing things because of how it'll look to others rather than doing something because that's what makes you feel good.
Oh, that's just has social media written all over, like everywhere. Well, for me, I guess external validation is, I wrote it down somewhere saying that, like, it's like that feeling of a craving attention or like enthusiasm. And for me, especially like constructive intellectual conversation to engage with my psychological needs. And if I don't get that in some sense, then my behavior definitely changes to the point where I seek external validation, and it becomes dangerous where you start looking for attention. Yeah.
Like any kind of attention, or would you say that that's also specific to what you're not feeling you're getting?
If I feel like I'm not a good friend, then obviously I will crave someone to say that I'm a good friend. But then in that desire, I don't do things that make me a good friend. You know what I mean? Like, or like in relationships, when I am feeling unseen, then I become clingy, and then that is the type of behavior that pushes people away.
Right. It's counterproductive.
Yeah, so that's how it manifests for me, because I know that as a kid I used to sulk a lot and become like really like silent sulking.
Yeah,
And I would
quiet
just like
and
not talk to
detached.
anyone. Yeah. And then that means that I'm looking for the attention and the external validation without saying anything, without communicating that. And so that prevents me from actually getting what I'm seeking. So I'm putting myself in this situation where I can like self-pity, and that doesn't really work as an adult. So
That's a good point, though, is that not all, like, external validation isn't always a bad thing to be wanting or to seek out. It's just there are some situations where more of it is not necessarily better.
yeah, that's very accurate, because I try and teach like my students. I go beyond just trying to be an English teacher, and for the ones that I do know can get it, I try and teach them to analyze their emotions, just to identify what they're feeling at that specific
Right.
time or when they're angry, and not judge that process or that emotion, and just be like, oh, I'm angry and I can see why this made me angry. Oh, I feel lonely, and I can probably find what made me feel lonely. If you can get into that space, I think that we can identify the thing that is making us feel like we need validation. And if that thing comes from a negative space, then I think that negativity plus external validation, or the lack thereof, then comes to like neediness and attention seeking. And that is a space that I don't like myself to be in, and especially when I see it in someone else,
It's
I'm
a
like,
turn off.
it's a big turn off. Like, if I know that someone's if they want attention, I will do the exact opposite. I'm sorry.
That's a useful, like a mini mindfulness exercise, though,
Yeah.
to try to pick up on it. Like, do I want attention because I'm not getting something? Or do I want attention because I'm in a bad place?
Yeah, and like, why do people need to know that I'm a good friend? Why do people need to know that I'm good at something? And I know that like external validation has many facets. There are many reasons why we do need it. We're social creatures, and for us to be in any way socially engaged, we do need a validation from our peers.
There needs to be some level of recognition from each other about, like, what are you doing? Like, oh, that's good. Like, keep doing that.
We need to feel connection, and the validation is important for connection, but too much of it can lead you to become attention seeking, and then you're Kim Kardashian. And then you erase the Armenian out of your face, and you're basically, well,
White.
Yeah. I mean, there's no question. She was always white.
No. Oh, yeah, no. She was always white, but then you're just blackfishing.
Yeah. Oh my God. Did you just say that? I love it.
It's a term.
It is a term. Yeah, it is a term. I just forgot. I just haven't heard about it in so long.
So going off of Kim K though, queen of social media, queen of Instagram, um, just the role that social media plays. Like it just brings up how there's such a fine line between doing something for yourself or wanting kind of rightful, legitimate attention for all the cool things that you do in your life versus only doing things for that validation or for like the number of likes or comments you get.
That's definitely true. I mean, social media was designed that way, and we definitely have no choice. When we use it,
We don't.
it's like it's designed by professionals, by industrial psychologists, by psychologists that understand the
It's
human
rigged
mind.
to be that way.
It's rigged to be that way, and so eventually, whatever you post, you do it for some level of attention because it has to be seen by other people.
Of course, if it wasn't going to be seen, then you wouldn't
Then
post it.
if you didn't want it to be seen, you would not have posted it, whether it's good or bad, like whatever the case is. Like, and if someone likes it, you do feel great, like you do feel rewarded. Your brain does get that reward stimulus.
You feel seen, you feel recognized.
And I think then external validation is quickly turned into a deep, unhealthy attention-seeking behavior by things like, especially Instagram, where it's much more visual.
It's visual.
Yeah. So Twitter too, but for me, not that much. My personal problem is definitely Instagram, which is, I don't know if you've noticed,
Same.
but I don't really post much anymore. In terms of stories, I never
Is that
posted.
a conscious decision on your part? To
Yeah,
try
that's a
and
conscious decision.
break away?
Yeah, because I don't know, I just like when I get sad or feel lonely or need attention, I tend to post about like how great things are, or like quotes, or I get very angry and I attack like some random person or group or whatever, or some idea, just so that someone could like come at me with like, no, you're wrong, and then I can you know
can spiral into this
into
online
like
fight.
Exactly. That's exactly what I do. I'm just
Instigating.
yeah, a little bit of gaslighting.
Oh, I wonder, that brings up another interesting point though, is like, has stepping away then been better for you in terms of not seeking out that external validation?
Actually, yes. Like and the reason I've been able to step away for so long is that I did realize, oh crap, like you do seek a lot of attention in the way that you post, and then stepping away and then watching myself going, oh, I want to post this, and then asking, why?
Why though?
Like, why do you want people to see this? Like, it's really not important for people to be knowing what you're doing every single time, because your life really isn't that great, and none of us are Beyonce.
None of us are really that special.
No. Well, no, I think we are. We just haven't learned to focus our attention on things that matter. Like, she is a very focused woman that had a goal and kept making herself better, not comparing to anyone else. The rest of us are out here comparing our Instagram to someone else's life. And you can say that you do that, that you don't do that, but look at your posts and analyze them and be like, what am I writing? Who am I writing this for? How many likes do I want? Did I feel good by getting these likes and comments?
Who am I writing this for?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's the question though.
Yeah.
Like, who am I doing this for? Am I doing it for me, or am I doing it for someone else to see and then think something specific about me?
So there's one prime example, and I stopped posting stories basically after this one, is one day I posted my bulge.
Oh,
like I was
excuse
like
me.
in my underwear, laying on like my bed here, and just like I just like slowly zoomed, like not, it started down there, and then the light was like dark, and you know how like the lights in my room can change colors, so it was like blue and dark. And as it panned up, like you could just see, oh wait, that's his situation. And it like panned up and you could only see my legs after that. But obviously that was an attention seeking
Ivor,
thing.
I think I remember this story.
Thank you very much. See that after
It was memorable.
I mean, a lot of people like DM'd me, which is really the purpose. I was looking for attention. And DM'd me whether they're thirsty, or be like, whoa, that's very out there. I mean, there's much worse on Instagram. But it's not really me. And so that kind of behavior I was not happy about. And I decided, you know what? That's not the kind of attention that is going to edify your soul. and I decided to stop posting so many stories. What about you?
I feel like my kind of external validation radar is more so like family stuff or like professional goals. So like always trying to do what I feel is expected and not trying not to stray from that, and like looking for those compliments. I feel like it's a pretty universal like minority like brown child experience of like not getting that positive reinforcement from your
Yeah,
parents, and the rest of your life it's a love language to get compliments from people.
honestly, or I think it goes like two ways, because it could either be like you look for compliments from people, but also you don't like it when people compliment
You're
you.
uncomfortable when they compliment
It's like
you.
you're both looking for it, but then when someone
Yeah.
compliments you, you can't take it.
Yeah.
It's like, I think a lot of people have
It's
that problem.
confusing.
It is deeply confusing for our psyches. So now that we've shamefully, or I have shamefully
Divulged our secrets.
divulged my bulge. How do you like get out of that space of like attention seeking?
So my predominant attention seeking, behavior is clearly very deeply rooted. Going back to the parents and like birth,
all of
probably.
all of that stuff comes
All of
from our
that stuff.
formative years.
So I've been talking about it in therapy, and the best advice I've gotten is turning the antenna inwards and asking, like, did you set these expectations or did you set these standards or did someone else? And if it's someone
Right.
else, then what do you actually want? Do you want to do this thing, or do you want to go towards this goal, or do you maybe want to do something else?
Yeah, figuring out what do you really want. And I think that goes back to childhood, when what you want is really a conditioning of your environment.
Exactly.
So it's kind of hard to figure out yourself, like to figure out what you want to be, what you want to do, who you are, when you're still growing, when you're still learning, and you haven't experienced the world as an adult yet. And so you're deeply confused. And I think if you don't have the opportunity to look inward, instead of for the answers outside, then I think you do end up in a situation where you are utterly confused.
Exactly. And it happens so naturally if you sort of grow up trying to please people, being a people pleaser. You want to fit into what people expect from you and you don't want to disappoint them. And then that grows into like a part of your personality almost.
Oh,
Where,
definitely.
yeah, you stop really asking whether you want to do something or how you feel about something, and sort of just try to go with the flow.
Yeah, you need to ask that question. What do you want? Figure out what you want. And that little phrase, honestly, what do you want, requires you to look inwards. And it's an uncomfortable space, right?
It is, because sometimes you don't know.
You really don't know, and it's okay to not know.
Right. But you should still ask.
You should still ask. And there's this quote that I really, really like, and it reads, "The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet." And so that process of looking inside is bitter. It's uncomfortable. We're never taught that. But the growth that comes from looking at yourself results in a kind of person, a more full, mentally full-bodied individual than someone who's looking for validation from outside. You could learn to get validation from inside.
Right.
Yeah.
So instead of being pruned and snipped away from the outside,
Yeah.
directing your own growth.
I love that line, directing your own growth. You do have control of the direction of your growth.
Right.
That's beautiful. Did you read that somewhere?
No, it was therapy advice.
Whoever said that, I need to find that, because it hit me deep. I don't know, like directing your own growth.
Thank you, Dr. Yuri.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Yuri, because that's deep. Like, write a book.
Okay, so I think it's okay to not be clear at all times, like, am I doing this for me or am I doing this for validation? What would be your advice to maybe unblur those lines or to dampen that need?
Something simple as a gratefulness journal. And especially in moments where I feel like I am lacking or in desperate need of something, I tend to try and do something good. And if like I said last week, And if I can't do something good, then I look for something good, and I look for things to be thankful for. And there's a lot of things that I mean, we're used to looking for the negative things in life, something that we're missing, especially because of social media. We're missing something, and you forget the good things, like about you and your life. The fact that you start simple, that you have food, that you have a house, that you have a warm bed or a warm floor to sleep on. That what it does, and it may not seem like me talking about it may seem wishy-washy, but what it does with your brain is it reinforces the neurons that have made connections with positive things. So it's just like positive reinforcement. And when you go to bed like that, or you wake up like that, you kind of set your day up for looking for the good in the world, and you find a different kind of validation from within and just not from without. That's my advice. That's how I overcome it.
That really speaks to me because I love lists. Like making lists and
I know, I've seen your book.
checking off lists of things that I've done. So I think it's a good idea because then you can actually visually see how many things there are to be grateful for or to be proud of in yourself without needing someone else to see it.
Yeah, sometimes you are a good friend without knowing you're a good friend. Or a good person.
Sometimes you're, killing it at work, and just because your boss doesn't say so doesn't mean you're not doing a great job.
There's nothing wrong with looking inwards and giving props to the things that you do great.
Right. Give yourself your own validation.
Yeah. You should, like, what does that song say? Tell me what you think about me. I buy my own diamonds and I buy my own rings.
Oh.
I only ring your telly when I'm feeling lonely. When it's all over, please get up and leave.
Oh.
Question?
I know it.
Independent women.
Oh.
I have been gagging over Beyonce for my whole life and this entire episode, and you didn't get that?
I knew it was Beyonce, but it was like I was singing it to the end of that chorus, and I was like, oh, it's gonna come out. It did not come out.
Yeah, so that
wraps
independent woman.
up our episode for today. This is fine. You can find us on Instagram. The link is in our SoundCloud bio.
Or this is fine on Instagram. No, this is fine __ fine, right?
Yes.
If you feel like you connected with something, text us.
Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Thanks for listening to today's show.
We'll see you next week. Well, we won't see you, but
We
Talk
hope
to you
that
next
you will
week.
listen to us ramble on about Beyonce.
yes.
Bye, guys.
Bye.